right, thanks for joining us today. We are going to take a quick look at Gambit from House of X. He is number 52. We're going to take a look at him, then we're going to rate both of his point values for competitive and casual play. All right, let's get right to it. Gambit is coming in with the Excalibur, X-Men, Martial Artist, Mystical, and Spy keywords. He has one trait, two special powers, improved movement hindering and improved targeting hindering. He has a 7 range with 3 targets, and he has an 80 point or 50 point value. Let's take a look at his trait. It is Mystic's team ability, but only triggers during ranged attacks. Gambit has protected Mystics, so that's pretty good to protect you from that one penetrating damage, and if people do get through his defense, then they will be taking Mystic's damage if they're shooting him from range. He has an special movement power on his 80 point dial on the top 2 clicks. It's running shot and stealth. He has a special attack power on both starting lines, and that gives him energy explosion, precision strike. Also, free, make an attack, but only to target a single non-adjacent character. Now, energy explosion and precision strike, just to mention it, they don't combine unless there's something that some special text in the power that says you can use precision strike with multiple targets. Precision strike is only when you do a single target, the damage cannot be reduced below 0. Energy explosion is multiple targets, and the people next to the original target also become targets. So for the most part, those don't combine. There's a few characters that have traits and abilities that allow precision strike to be used with multiple targets, but Gambit does not have that. Okay, let's take a look at his dial. He comes in for 80 points with 7 clicks of life, which is pretty good. And let's take a look here at what exactly you're getting with this dial. It's pretty solid. He has a total of 12 reach on that 80 points. So that means you can move 5 and then shoot 7. Same thing on his 50 point starting line, just without the stealth. So he still has running shot. So that's a pretty far reach. And then with the improved movement and targeting, allows him to move through hindering, and then he can get past stealth because he can see through the hindering also. So that's useful. Running shot with the improvements is good. He has triple target precision strike. So if you just do your regular triple target with that 3 damage he has throughout his dial, you could allocate 1 damage to each target, and since it cannot be reduced below 1, then if he hits, those figures will be taking the 1 damage. Or he has the option to do that triple target energy explosion, which can hit a bunch of characters depending on what your opponent's formation is. And if they don't have reducers, that gives you the option to do an energy explosion, which gives 2 damage. So with toughness or no reducer, that's a good way to damage a lot of figures. Or if your opponent does have reducers, you switch it over and use the precision strike part of the power. So that special attack power is pretty useful. It gives you a couple good options depending on what is across the board from you. On his 80 point dial, he's starting with Perplex. So he could, with figures like this, I like to use the Perplex to get that attack value up to give me a better chance of hitting, because he's going to be doing damage either way with energy explosion or precision strike. But then his free make an attack, you want to make sure that that hits. So anytime you get free attacks or extra attacks, I like to bump up the attack value to make sure I get the most hits out there. On his 50 point dial, he does not start with Perplex, which is a little bit of a drawback, and then it kicks in again at the end of his dial. I really do like his dial. I think it's pretty good. He has an 18 defense with super senses on the top click of 50 points and on his first 2 clicks of 80. Then he moves into a little bit harder to hit energy shield deflection. So if you keep him at range and moving around, he's going to be a 19 or a 20 at the end of that dial. Let's take a look at what he would look like on the battlefield to get an example. All right, on this kind of setup, we have Gambit all by himself, and his opponents are closing in on him. Now he's has stealth on that special power, so he's sitting in the hindering. Now, if you want to take advantage of your run-in shot and that far reach, he can run in shot. He can run and shot down to this corner and get a line of fire on Claw and some of these moloids. And then the cool thing on this kind of setup, you could choose to just target those three characters and split up your 3 damage among them. Use your perplex to increase it to a 4 damage on his top click, and then maybe allocate 2 to Claw and then 1 to each of the moloids, or however you want to split it up. Or you can do this triple target with energy explosion and be dealing 2 damage to everybody that is targeted or adjacent that gets hit. So if they don't have reducers, that's a great way to deal out a ton of damage. Now let's rate him on the competitive and casual side at 80 points. So his 80-point value for competitive, that is a lot of points to put in there. He will have kind of a long dial for 80 points, but with no reducers, and that is 80 points. It's a significant part of your build on a standard 300. So I'm giving him 2 clicks out of 5 for competitive. He does have a high damage output. 80 points is a little bit expensive. His keywords are not super great, but maybe he would find some use somewhere. On the casual side, I think it's a little bit better. For 80 points, you can fit him onto some X-Men teams. And he is going to be a ranged attacker with great movement and lots of targets. At 50 points, he loses the perplex, which is a downgrade, and loses his stealth. But it is a little bit better on the cost side of things. So 50 points, you might be able to fit into a competitive build, but you are not getting that perplex and you're not getting that stealth to keep him protected. So I still rate him as 2 clicks out of 5. On the casual side, though, 50 points is a lot better to fit onto an X-Men team to get a bunch of different characters working together. So he's getting 4 out of 5 on his casual 50-point line. I think that's a good place to play him and gives you enough room to build a nice solid team around him. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Check it out. If you dig what we do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.